Alright, we should be live.
This is gonna be a good one, guys.
That's gonna be a great opening. I can't wait to see that on YouTube.
Well, hello everyone.
I mean, they're gonna expect you guys to come in bald caps again.
So we all look like all the time.
Hey, what are you
Yeah,
talking
like
about,
burnt
bald
time
cap?
in the backyard. No, I read somewhere that bald caps use cornstarch, and I'm allergic to corn, so it makes sense.
That probably makes sense.
Oh,
as why
that's
you're
probably
doing
why
it.
you were itchy.
That explains it.
Alright, I'm typing out the gone live notification.
Yes, please, so I can spam my own communities with it.
Oh my god, I'm dead.
So am I, technically.
No. Well, not anymore, but...
No, I'm
Only half of them are dead.
Yeah.
We're part of the Alive Party now.
Does that mean we get to sit at different tables?
You guys with the gray skin and the weird looks, you guys go over there.
Now, does being dead qualify you to be at the adults' table, or are you stuck at the kids' table still?
It's whatever you ended off at. You never get to move.
That's a whole loaded question for Sheeran.
That is a
which adult
very
which kind of adult
loaded
are we
question.
talking about?
Also, someone raided us.
Already?
Thanks for the raid.
That was quick. We haven't even started yet. Thank you for the raid, Sparrowbell. We're running late, so
Yeah, we'll start soon.
Eh,
yeah. Just doing all the notifications right now and, laughing our asses off to the point where we snort.
Laughing at trauma. It's the best way to deal with it.
Yeah.
it's a number one coping mechanism.
Alright, there we go. Hopefully that's good enough.
And just for reference, I did go back through the last episode, and our current time is about 10 o'clock in the night.
Gotcha.
Sweet. Oh yeah, I forgot you're gonna keep track of the clock.
Appreciate it.
Oh man, I found this awful, but amazing dad joke list.
For
Oh, dude.
Kale?
Don't get me started on dad jokes, man.
I'm afraid
Whoa.
for the calendar, its days are numbered.
Oh no. Oh no.
You got a problem with me and Brian because we both love dad jokes.
I heard my favorite one that I've heard in a long time is, what kind of doctor is Dr. Pepper?
What?
He's a physician.
Damn it, that's good.
That's pretty damn good, yeah.
That's
It's
way
good,
better
it's
than I
good.
expected.
Now I want to change our going live message to that.
You should.
Singing in the shower is fun until you get soap in your mouth. Then it's a soap opera.
Literally, one of my friends. It's a daily ritual at this point now, where we've been kind of like getting closer friends over the past few months, and now it's just a daily thing in the morning. I send her a new dad joke, and so I have a plethora of them at this
Oh
point.
boy.
Alright. Almost done. Where's the tavern? There's the tavern.
You're the tavern.
I'm in the tavern. And now I'm leaving the tavern to go to another server.
Oh boy. Okay.
Alright. That's done. I forgot that I need to do Facebook and Twitter as well. Sorry for being late, by the way, everyone. We all kind of aren't feeling our best.
There were some technical difficulties.
That
A little
too.
bit.
Technical and physical difficulties.
There's enough rushing around for this month. We don't need to be rushing everything else.
You know, I was gonna make a pretty screwed up comment, so I'm not going to, but I can't help but think how hilarious it is in a dark way.
Hey, some of those dark thoughts are hilarious, but they're not always appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Send it in discussion, please.
I will. I will gladly send it in discussion.
That's one of the
I
reasons
thought
that
I called out just
exists.
then.
What was that, V?
I said I felt really called out just then.
Whoa, why is Twitch streaming it trending?
Because we're streaming? I don't know.
Mm,
I'm just being optimistic.
I don't know, but
We have so many viewers.
I'm going to try and capitalize on that. Hashtag, which,
I did not include that in my hashtags for Twitter.
there we go. Added that to the notifications.
Oh my god.
Good lord, man.
Yeah, good thing you didn't say that out loud.
Hold on, I gotta see this.
I enjoyed it though.
It's a way to look at it, I
Okay,
guess.
same though.
Gotta find the positives in things.
Bro.
Wow, man. That is definitely funny in a dark way.
Pretty
Right.
dark, yeah.
Are
I
we
have
ready?
three Doritos.
Very
Nice.
dark, I
What does
know.
that mean?
What does what mean?
3D Doritos. What does that mean?
They're basically like little Doritos, but they're like puffed up. Yeah, they're
They're
really
like
They
old
look like
school,
Eagles?
kind of.
yeah.
They're really
They've
old
got a
school.
hollow center and they're a really thin skin to them, I guess you would say.
Interesting.
It's a
Why
90s
can't we
kid thing.
Post in New Zealand.
Yeah,
think
they're
we
real old
slightly
school,
did
but
it
they're like
ourselves.
super satisfying despite them like not having much to them. It's because they got like extra crunch, I think.
Mm-hmm. I enjoy them.
I would recommend muting your mic if you were going to eat more of those, though. That was very
Sorry.
loud. Are we ready for a recap?
Yeah.
We can do that, yeah.
I
Hang
am.
on.
I remember nothing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I remember
I'll
Usually
turn my
I
everything.
camera
remember
on here in a
things.
second.
But I don't this week.
It's
I'm
been a
very
long couple weeks. So
Ready?
there was a bit of a tragedy in Sharn as some allies did not make it through the night of Air's death. The ones that did survive kind of went off on their own to kind of reevaluate, recollect themselves. About 6 months later, through a bit of chance of fate, a number of them reconnected. Merrick showed up, found Shiorn on their way. Merrick had also collected a couple of more allies along his journeys, and from there they traveled to Zilspar to find Kale. Kale, who was kind of making his own life in Zilspar, making some money, kind of trying to find some normalcy outside of what had happened. Ended up getting a surprise visit from his adoptive sister, Shauna, and she showed up having heard about Kale's leaving from the orphanage and decided that he could take care of himself, so she was going to come check up on him, and found him in Zilspar. And at that moment, when Merrick and the others showed up with Shioran and new allies in Retribution and Torkrana, a lizard folk fighter, barbarian, sorry. Thinking for a second. Lizard folk barbarian and a tiefling paladin that seemed to have some interesting abilities to each of them. At that moment as well, Kale was given some information about some attacks that had been happening in and around Zilspar, and that some of the herds outside of Zilspar had been getting picked off, and they were, the night prior, an actual shepherd was killed. And so since Kale has a bit of a reputation with the town, they asked him to see if he could investigate. You guys all went out there together, found a number of signs of something getting brutally murdered and carried away. And you guys decided to stick around, wait for night to come, because that's when it seems when the attacks happened, and you guys were set upon by these flying monstrosities that had these massive wings, insectoidal type of legs and bodies, but then these almost kind of devilish skull-like faces, and they were dangerous, obviously, to the average person, but you guys were able to take them out. And we come back to right after you guys finished the fight. You guys are currently out in the field. The herd of sheep has taken off at this point, and there are mutilated bodies of these creatures kind of in this area. One of them is a little ways off as it tried to fly away to the southwest, and you guys stopped it and killed it. So that is where we start.
Yes, the grand firework.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Courtesy of Shioran. Okay. So first things first, Shioran's probably going to want to get those sheep to calm down. So,
You gonna go after the sheep?
I'm gonna transform into a sheep and chase after them and try to, convince them.
All right. So Shioran just kind of turns into a slightly discolored sheep, and yeah, so slightly blue sheep, and then just kind of takes off towards the other sheep.
To Shauna's surprise, probably. All right,
It's a little bit weird.
just a little bit. But she's basically going to be yelling something like, "They did it! They got rid of them!"
Make a sheep persuasion check.
I use my
Oh,
stats,
we
right?
We are starting off strong here tonight.
Any chance animal handling?
Yeah,
Actually, persuasion is better.
persuasion.
22.
Really strong.
A few. They kind of slow down, but they're still avoiding the area at the very least. They've kind of all just spread out. And where some of them are less terrified, they just are kind of like moving around in a disjointed group, and so it's gonna need a actual like shepherd and a herding dog to get them back in a group.
So I'm just gonna go like through the crowd and double check that none of them are hurt or anything like that.
All right, that's gonna take you a bit because there's plenty of them. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm going to kind of start moving the viscera to a single location. I'm just gonna burn it.
Before you burn it, Merrick is going to kind of kneel down and take a look at these things.
Meanwhile, Torque is still kind of feral, holding onto the piece of his that he's still got in his claws.
How are you looking? You got,
Torque?
Yeah.
I'm looking better after the last bit of healing that I'd gotten from Shiorn, but I mean, I'm still very cut up along his chest. You can definitely see blood pooling with the silver paint on his chest.
All right. Then I'll walk up to you and I'll just like pat you on the chest and be like, "Good job," and I'll do lay on hands for 20 points.
Merrick kind of looks up from the corpse as he is kind of looking at it after it gets kind of put onto the pile before it gets burnt, and just kind of stroking his chin, and kind of looks up and says, "These creatures don't seem to be natural. I mean, obviously they're horrifying, but I don't... Whatever these things are, they're not native to here. I'd almost throw a guess that maybe they're aberrations of some kind."
Well, that's not exactly new, in a way.
No, but
Because
that's...
remember the Acklets.
Well, Acklets are natural. They are natural predators that reside in the ocean. The way that they were modified was a little strange. But these, I think they are aberrations. The question is where they came from.
What direction did they fly from?
It kind of
Maybe
points.
it's
I
south,
think
right?
I think this one was trying to escape. That direction kind of points. And it's a little hard to see, especially for, actually I think everyone has dark vision, but even that, you can kind of see the silhouette of about a mile or so off is the crags and the coastline of this area and the ocean beyond. And it kind of goes in a southwesternly direction towards anyone who is aware of the geography. It leads to a bit of a peninsula that overlooks the hilt.
At this point, Torque would kind of calm down and read at your touch. He kind of blinks a bit. We're cloud dogs.
They're,
Oh, dog.
Sorry, I would just look at you.
That took me a second.
Shioran's getting them.
Oh my god, that took me way too.
Shioran's getting them.
Should I help?
No.
No, I think she's good. Yeah.
You just see this. You just see off in the distance. You just see a little blue sheep. This is kind of like going around between the other sheep.
I should probably let the shepherds know to come control their sheep.
Are you gonna head back to town to get one?
Probably.
Right. Sure. Do an animal handling check for me.
Oh boy. Can I do a like a head count as well?
Sure.
That's not a good animal handling check. Total of 9.
All right. And what's your intelligence?
My intelligence is 12.
All right. Yeah. So you count as best you can with them moving around. A little hard to keep track. 'Cause they're all sheep. They all kind of look the same. You'd guess probably around 30 or 40.
Wasn't there like 50?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're missing a few.
Mm-hmm.
Because even with a miscount, that's a little bit of a gap to.
Mhm. It takes about 10-15 minutes to get all the corpses into a pile, and then you proceed to burn it, Kale.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm guessing you take the necessary safety measures not to burn the entire field to the ground.
Yep.
And there's quickly a raging fire. And as you light these creatures on fire, there's a odd kind of like sizzling sound as their flesh burns. And where the fire that catches at first is a natural color, it quickly turns to a dark purple to this kind of like sick green after a few minutes, and it is not a fun sight at all. And the smell is horrendous quickly as this pillar of kind of greenish black smoke rises from the pile.
Mm.
All right. So, would I be coming back from the sheep now?
Yeah. They're in a loose group at this point. But yeah, you come back as the bonfire's catching at this point, and the green flames are rising above it.
We seem to be missing a few, but the ones that I managed to stop they don't seem to be hurt.
That's good.
The other hard part is sheep don't have dark vision, so it makes it a little harder as well.
Right, that's true.
And then, so Kale's going back to get the shepherds. Is anyone else going back to the Zilspar?
I'm gonna see if I can do something about the missing sheep.
All right.
I can use my other wild shape to be like a sheepdog or something and sniff them out.
All right. Yeah, you can kind of turn yourself into one of those. Make a perception and advantage for me.
Is that that's with the dog senses, correct?
For wild shape, it's whatever's better. The dogs are yours
Okay.
when it comes to like the skill itself. But you use your mental stats, so your wisdom, intelligence, and charisma.
All right. Hearing or smell, it would be for them +6 minus. Okay, so +6 with advantage. Uh, 17 plus 6, 23.
You catch the scent of a number of them from where they took off, and you kind of can go in that direction.
Now there's a blue sheepdog wandering around.
Is anyone doing anything while Kale is off getting the shepherds and Shioran is herding the other sheep?
Torque will try to look over them to make sure that they're not like injured.
Yeah, sure. So as this slightly blue-tinted dog is like doing kind of like laps in a semicircle trying to get the sheep all in one area, you kind of look over and none of them seem to be injured at all. Shauna, Retribution, you guys doing anything?
I think I'll walk a little bit of ways in the way that the one was trying to escape.
Okay.
See if there's anything to see.
I was also interested in doing that.
Yeah, so the two of you kind of go off, and you do find that the direction it was flying was the same kind of path that you found that small trail of viscera before it disappeared.
So where we lost the trail before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll just spend the rest of the time kind of watching Shioran.
By the time Kale gets back with the other shepherds,
I'll
And
pick up Ainsley too while I'm there.
Yep. And Ainsley, at your command, if you give it to him, will easily go and help with the herding, and the other shepherds get everything in line. Shorin did a decent job by the time they get there, so you've seemed to have collected them all. The shepherds are going to do their own head count to make sure, but they vehemently thank you all, but you can tell that as they glance at the now dying embers of the corpses, they're still kind of wary. And the ones that are near can hear them kind of like whispering to each other, and it's like, are we sure that's all of them?
We're gonna track down where they came from. We're gonna make sure that that's all of them.
Are you sure? That sounds dangerous.
Comes with the territory. You all want to be able to do your jobs without worrying about something killing you from above, right?
True, but we also don't want to throw your life away, Kale.
Don't worry about us.
That's what I'm here for. To make sure he doesn't die.
You seem to have some strong allies, so if anyone is going to be able to handle it, it sounds like it will be you lot. I do know some rumors that there's strange sightings of creatures that are along the coast down the peninsula. I don't know if it's anything to do with this, but it's an area that we try to avoid. But maybe there's something to look into.
Is that near where we found we lost the trail?
I mean, it's in the same direction, but I mean, it's a few miles, probably a good day and a half or so from the rumors at the very least. It's supposed to be by some sort of crevice. I've just only been told of it as a kid here at Silspar. I never actually got myself. It was kind of more of a don't wander off type of thing. So I don't know what actually is. I just know it's a large cave system or something like that. I'm not sure. It's old stories.
Okay.
Well, we can give it a day and make sure that they don't come back.
How's everyone looking?
Okay.
I'm alright.
Merrick's peachy.
I think Torgrana's the only one who took real damage.
Yeah, at this point he's
I'm like 20 down.
pretty decent after that bit of healing from Rhett. He's just got, a couple more scratches, but those will heal up in time. At this point, he'll also kind of like rise up from inside of the herd of sheep, like with one on his shoulder. We need more torches.
I just kind of glance at Merrick. That's it.
I also have my my lantern is on.
The lantern's on. Merrick creates more fire to light the way. Says, are we leaving now?
I was thinking that maybe giving it a day, making sure that everything, like, more don't come, would be a good idea.
Yeah.
We should stay the night here in the field.
Well, I can take first watch if you guys like.
Thanks. I'll take second.
And then I'll take the rest.
All right. So the you guys kind of settle in for the rest of the night. Is anything anyone wanted to do going into the night?
I would like to talk to the shepherd for a moment. Nothing big, just...
You see him grabbing one with his cane and pulling it back to the herd as you go over to talk to him.
Would you happen to know if, how the fishing is doing? If, it's recovered since last time?
Oh yeah, it's been doing a lot better since you lot came through here. It took a few weeks, close to a month, for things to start migrating back, but yeah, no, it's been a lot better. You quite honestly saved our town. Thank you.
Okay, that's good to hear. Glad our efforts didn't go to waste here.
Helping people is never a waste of time, miss.
You're not wrong, but we've had some things happen in Sharn that made it hard.
It's not always the easy path to do the right thing. And sometimes bad things can still happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a reason to run away from doing the right thing.
I agree.
And he kind of like pats you on the shoulder. I never got to personally thank you, but thank you. My family here relies on this town, and without it, they wouldn't have a home. And in that regard, without you and your companions, they wouldn't have a home. So, thank you.
That reminds me. Speaking of which, if you could show me tomorrow to the farms, I can do something to help you out there too.
Sure. I mean, I'm going to be asleep. I do the night shift, so it's. But yeah, I'll get somebody to help you.
Okay, that works too. Thank you. All right, and then I'm gonna go contemplate the stars in the little group.
As you're laying down, kind of pulling your blanket up. Do you keep your blanket, like bedroll, like moist? I'm just curious.
Probably, it's a good idea to keep moisturized.
Okay, just make it. I'm just curious about that.
I was considering like having hauling around a tub that I actually fill with water, but that would be a little bit of effort.
Just a soggy bedroll that she's always got on her.
Is talking. I'm just gonna set up my tent.
Mm-hmm. I could dig find a little ditch and just fill that with water.
I'm gonna pull out a bottle of mead that I stole from my house.
Stealing if it's from your house. I think it's just yours.
I mean, unless it was.
I stole it from my house.
I mean, unless it was Valerie's that she left behind.
Gail doesn't know, probably.
But it's not really stealing. She left the house.
But yeah, there's a bit of and you take a couple of swigs, and
The moment there is I hear it.
The moment I hear it.
It's like Kale doesn't even have it to his lips yet, and then just face.
Wait, Kale also pulls out another bottle and just gives it to her, just like holds it out to her while he's trying to drink from his own.
Thank you.
Torque's gonna go kind of over to where that bonfire was and just kind of like dig a hole that's about half his body size, and then kind of snuggle into that to sleep in.
All right.
I could fill that with water too if you want.
I mean, if Shiorn would offer.
Make a perception check for me, Torque.
I am not good at those. I stand corrected.
Tonight you are.
21.
New one. As you're kind of like digging into the dirt, you hear just something strange. Like you kind of like, and then you stop, like look over, and you look over at the pile of the bodies, and you see a corpse that was just. You can see off to one side there was a bit of a corpse that's not quite in the pile. It's still burnt, but it almost looks like the corpse started to kind of crawl away as it was still on fire, but it's only like a part of one of the corpses. And kind of go over to it and take a look at it. And it's a bit strange. It's one of the ones you guys cleaved in half. And the legs are kind of like put out, like it was trying to grab the ground and pull itself away from whatever the fire was. But there's a bit of a strange something on its like claws. They look like small little strings. I'm not sure what they are or what they were, but they're just kind of hanging there. Some of them are burnt off. But yeah.
He's gonna like unstrap the Yukilwa that he's got on his like belt and just kind of like poke at it.
The one you poke immediately just into ash.
Are we fighting puppets?
Spider web, not burn off claw.
They're kind of thick, almost like earthworm size almost.
So he says that, and I guess we
will
hear that.
attempt to try to figure out what weird lizard man is.
Hey, you look over to as you're kind of like taking a swig, you look over at the pile and you see Torque just kind of like crouched over a bit of the burnt up corpse, the ash pile.
Yeah, I want to take a look as well.
Yeah, I'll walk over and be like, "Good. Do you want a drink?"
I'm just staring at the pile of ash.
What are you talking about?
As you guys move over, you can also tell that as Torque is kind of just kind of blown away a little bit of the ash, that these creatures, skeletons that weren't burned, have a bit of almost like an obsidian look to them. They're dark black and almost shiny.
Is the string still there, right?
A couple of them, yeah.
Yeah. Can I grab one and like how is it obvious that it goes far, or is it just like
So it kind of, there's a number of them that are going off of one of like the claws that it has, because it had those like kind of like insectoidal like pointer legs.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they're coming out of the leg itself, and a number of them seem to be kind of like laying across the ground a little bit. So at the longest one is maybe 3 or 4 feet long. And you go to like kind of grab one, and the same thing kind of happens where Torque poked it, and you grab it and it just turns to ash.
what are these?
Not the foggiest.
I would ask if it looked like it came out of the hand, or if it was like tugging on it, but the hand's gone now.
I mean, the leg, the skeletal leg is there, and it seems to be whatever came out of the bone.
Came out of the bone. Okay. I just want to like I'll have more of an in-depth look at why the fuck they look shiny.
Sure. Make an investigation check.
I'm not the best at that. Also, I'd just like to say that it is so hot in New Zealand today that my temperature changing dice, I don't even have to touch them. And they are purple instead of black. Plus 2, 15.
You're looking at one of the skeletons, and it's got almost a bit of a, you can tell as you get closer that they've got a bit of a porous look to them, kind of like bird bones almost, but they've got a bit more rigidity to them. You kind of take a ring or a piece of metal that you have, and you kind of, and it makes a distinct like ting 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 noise, like not quite metal on metal, but kind of a mixture of kind of like a ting to sort of glass, but not at the same time. You never seen anything like this, unless you want to make a history check for me.
I rolled well, but I don't think my... no, it is. My history is actually, I'm proficient in it, so 22.
22. You haven't seen anything like this specifically, but you have heard of, in some of the stories and some of the things you've read throughout your life, you have heard strange tales of very unique anatomy to aberrations that have been studied. Creatures like beholders and mind flayers and things like that have been actually captured very rarely. They have completely different anatomy to multiple organs, to varying arrangement of said organs. Some don't have skeletons at all and are just filled with kind of a gelatinous structure that somehow holds its form. And it's very, very strange. But this kind of goes along with it, but it's not something you've actually seen or heard of.
Well, I can tell you that it's strange.
That tells us a lot.
Weird. But it's normal. It's normal for aberrations. But for us, it's weird.
If I poke
We
the
don't
bone
judge
with the Yigglewad, does it disintegrate too?
No.
I'm so tempted to just take a sack of these bones.
Come on, lizard man, do it.
I encourage you to. Like, I would if it would be my character, but it's not. You have to do it.
Is this something
I
your
have
character
to be able
would
to
do?
live through you.
He's a lizard folk, of course
It
you
is
can do
something
this.
he would do. He's already started collecting bones last game.
Yeah, I'm gonna scrape some of these like bones out of the bonfire pile and just kind of like wait for them to cool, just so I can fill one of my sacks with them later.
All right. You now have flying horror skeletons.
Great.
That's a great name.
It is a good name. Well,
Is that
this
the
is
name of our
happening.
next band?
Flying horror instead. I like that name.
Flying
That's a
horror
gr-
skeletons.
Flying horror is flying horrors. It's a great
Flying
name.
horror skeletons? That's a whole different aberration.
No,
Flying
for our
Shivers
group.
down your spine.
Oh.
Group name. Flying horrors.
Flying horrors.
I feel like it's funny as like a little bit of a thing, but if we make it our group name, it's gonna turn into Flying Horror.
That's the one I voted for.
Like, we already know.
None of us can fly.
I
I'm
can
pretty
jump like I'm
close to
flying.
it. It's-
I'll be able to fly soon.
Okay. Some of us can fly at some point. While all this is happening, Retribution's just gonna be in their tent.
All right. Chilling like a villain. you crawl in there. You hear them talking around where the fire was, but doesn't seem to
Yeah.
interest you.
I gotta take off my armor
Mm-hmm.
and
Quick
Care for
question. Sorry. Is there more? Is there like evidence of more of these strings like moving around that maybe have disappeared or something?
You only see it on this one because this one, like I said, seems to have, because like it was the burn pile, and then since it's burned down, this one specifically seems to have almost started to crawl away. Didn't get very far, like maybe just like a couple of feet off of the pyre itself, but it's still burned.
So no evidence that any others like moved out of there or anything.
Everything else is ash, from what you can tell.
Okay.
So if it was, you're not sure.
All right. I'm sorry. Were you wanting to say something, Tori?
Nope.
Okay.
Just going to sleep.
All right.
Merrick kind of looks around and says, well, if you guys are going to get to sleep, probably should get to sleep. Otherwise, my watch is going to be over here in a couple hours.
Yeah, we should probably do that.
Oh, trans.
I'm just gonna poke the other strings and make them go up in flames as well.
They're not in flames. You just kind of poke them and they just kind of crumble into burnt ash. And
Turk will finish digging his ditch and spill into it.
Yeah. And you guys go through the rest of the night. Nothing eventful happens. And you wake up the following day. What month are we in again, Sengetsu?
We are in Olaroon. It will be the 21st.
day after the day of mourning.
Yeah, just gonna check something real quick here.
Day of mourning. First
You've cut out for me.
Checks out.
Yeah, for
No,
everybody.
sorry, I was just
No, Vendetta.
Oh, V.
Yeah, for some reason
I
V
said
volume
the
went
day
down.
of mourning, and then the flying horror skeleton.
There's not a correlation. What are you talking about? You guys are
No,
paranoid.
it was just like destined to be our Halloween episode, but then wasn't our Halloween episode, so I just thought it was really.
True. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So it's definitely a little chillier when you wake up. It's late winter at this point, but you guys are still way south in the continent, so it's a bit warmer here. And so I'd say you probably wake up and it's in the mid to mid 50s or so. So it's kind of get out, and it's a bit of a chill to the normal day, but it quickly burns itself off. There's a bit of a fog that rolls in from the ocean, and but yeah, the morning is your guys's. What are you gonna do?
Hang on, I'm still deciding what I'm changing, but I'm going to be using the detect poison spell on the spot that these things disappeared into ash to make sure that it's not like poisoning the ground or anything. Detect poison and disease. Is that? I'm modifying my spell list right now. Or is that specifically for food?
I'm checking the wording.
Long rest.
Oh, yeah, shouldn't.
Yeah, I think for the moment I'm going to take that one off.
It's not a poison or poisonous creature per se, so you don't really get anything pinged off of that spell. And you guys cleared away a bit of the grass and whatnot, kind of made an area of just dirt, so you guys could burn without, like we said, burning the field down. So hopefully this doesn't do anything to the earth, but you're not sensing anything in that regard.
Okay. All right. And I guess when we get a chance, I'd like to get to that farm as well, unless we have something to do beforehand.
What farm are you talking about?
Huh?
What farm are you talking about?
If they have farmland or anything like that in this area, place.
Oh, you want help?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I have a spell that's going to help them. But I should probably mention to everyone, this spell I'm going to do, it's going to take 8 hours, so we're going to be here for a bit. I'm going to be here for a bit.
So,
Well,
should we take the day, or
Yeah.
should you do it after, once we come back?
I thought it would be a good idea to make sure that, like, they don't have more that will come tonight. And then we can head out in the morning if that doesn't happen.
okay. Well, I have
Shioran's
couple
had a
things to
habit at-
take care of.
Yeah, Shioran's got a little bit of a habit of being precautious now.
All right. So Sharon gets led off to the farmland. Essentially, it's not a lot since most of their trading is dealt around the fishing trade. But there's a small area where vegetables and certain things like that are grown, and you're showing over there. And you start working on your doing the plant growth spell, correct?
Yep. So, for reference, I stick the trident in the ground prongs first, and over the course of 8 hours, the land kind of takes on a slight tint of magic that grows and grows as I cast it.
Over the course of the ritual, it's not an immediate like, oh my god, there's a bunch of crops, obviously, because it's the actual harvest. But you can tell in the land itself that there's a change. Flowers that weren't bloomed bloom out of their normal cycle. The grass takes on a deeper, richer green. The earth gets this kind of darker look to it, and it just has a richer, and there's a smell that permeates the area. It just has this more natural smell to it than normal. And yeah, so Shorin takes her day to be doing this, to this ritual. What are the rest of you doing for that 8 hours?
I missed lunch yesterday.
Into the pub.
Looks like the siblings have the same idea. You guys head over to the Red Cliff Overlook, and that place is just starting to get a couple of people in during the day. And when you head in, you see at the bar itself is Gortha, the half-orc chef that works there, who you are very familiar with, Kale. And when you and your sister walk in, there's a brightening up of her demeanor, and then notices Shauna, and it kind of gets it's very, very slight, but just a very kind of like squinty-eyed a little bit, but she has a very pleasant demeanor. Welcome. Good morning to the both of you. How you doing, Kale?
I'm good. How are you doing? Sorry I couldn't make you yesterday. I kind of motioned to Shauna, company, and then obviously the farm thing happened.
The rumors spread quite quickly around here. You've already told me that you and your companions took out a group of them and saved the whole herd. Zog will be wanting to congratulate you himself if he sees
I'm
you.
sure. I'm sure. But this is my sister.
And you kind of,
I'm just watching this whole situation like,
there's a bit of like, oh, well, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name's Gortha. And kind of like sticks out her hand in greeting.
I'll like take her hand, like, nice to meet you too.
And there's just this really awkward exchange between the two of them, to the point where Garthas like takes her hand back and so do you two need breakfast? It's on the house for all the stuff you've done, but especially for last night.
Sounds wonderful, Gortha. Thank you.
Same as always.
For me, yeah, and whatever she wants.
What would you like, dear?
Do you do like a big breakfast sort of thing?
I could definitely put together a big breakfast. Yeah,
I'll have 2, please.
2. Meat, vegetarian, fish.
Oh, meat. Meat.
Definitely do that. And
Works out.
She puts the kind of like a clean cloth over her shoulder and heads back into the kitchen. There's only about 2 other patrons in the actual overlook at the moment, and it's a guy sitting at a table, and it's actually 2 people at the same table, and one of them, they both got kind of like steaming cups in front of them that one of them's sipping on, the other one's kind of chuckling at something that the other one said. They both greet you, Kale, with a hearty good morning.
I motion back to him. I don't really respond too much.
I'll just like look over to Kira. So that's Gortha. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's Gortha. What?
Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
You know I know when you're thinking things, right?
You don't. I can assure you.
I might not get it completely right, but context is something that helps me make a good assumption.
I can assure you. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm just gonna sit there real smug.
And about...
I've already finished that bottle of mead. It is gone.
That's fine. You now have an empty bottle with you. And within about 15 minutes or so, Gortha comes out with 2 big plates that she plops down with some drinks. And anything else I can get either of you?
What do you have alcohol?
Well, we've got a number of different ales here, and some wines, if that's what you're interested in.
Liquors?
Well, we have a number of choices in that as well. We do have a dwarven whiskey here.
I'll do
That
that and a
sounds
coffee.
interesting.
Would you like it in the
I'll have
coffee?
to say.
No, I'll portion that up myself, thanks.
Gotcha.
You could just put it in the coffee for me. That's
So anyway, 2 dwarven whiskeys, one with coffee, one without, and with coffee on the side. And she'll head off, bring that back, and as she sets it down, you notice as she goes to like walk away, she just kind of gives Kale kind of a squeeze on the shoulder and then walks back to the kitchen. And
I notice everything.
I'm sure you do, as a nosy sister will.
You see Kale's kind of shifted in his seat a little bit as he taps the table with his ring finger. So I guess he didn't expect
So
us
what
having
next?
to, Well, Shorin's doing her thing, and I guess we're waiting for... I guess we're just kind of in a waiting phase right now with what's going on over there, so...
Great.
Wasn't expecting to
Holiday.
see
I'll
them.
down the drink and go, tomorrow.
And the siblings go about their breakfast. Retribution and Torque. Is there anything you guys are doing during this time?
Do you
Does
have
the
any
town look like it has like a market, like for produce or what have you?
Small one. If you're traveling through, it's not so much like an open market. It'd be more just like there's a general store where you see a lot of people coming in and out of with stuff. And what were you gonna say, Tori?
Oh, I just wanted to make sure. I don't have anything specific Retribution wants to do, just kind of walk around the town, outside of town, just kind of check things out.
You see a number of people give you not like off-putting looks, but you definitely pique a lot of people's interests as you walk through, given your unique appearance.
And I'm quite loud.
Yeah, shink, 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 shink.
Yeah.
And they definitely don't see heavily armored individuals come through their town very often. One of the kids you hear as you're kind of passing by, it's a mom on a porch with a couple of kids that are kind of like running around in the front yard, and she's talking with a friend on the porch, and one of the kids, they're just kind of like running around chasing each other, and one of them notices you and points out the differing skin colors, and the mom immediately kind of shames them. You can take that how you will.
Okay. I'll
And
just smile at the kid and keep walking.
He kind of like gives a kind of like a furtive glance towards his mom back to you, and then smiles and kind of waves back. The woman looks in your direction and just kind of, if you look at her, she's like, "I'm sorry."
Yeah, I'll just keep going.
But yeah, you just kind of go around the town. It's a village. There's a number of houses with a number of areas that seem to be made for. There's a large area that's set up specifically for keeping the fish fresh that aren't going to be immediately packing and distribution. There's a number of areas and then you can see where that kind of leads to. Where they have a number of horses and carriages where they then send off their goods from there to the surrounding towns. And yeah, it's a pretty small village, but it's bustling and busy as everyone has their responsibilities. Torque, do you go into the general store? Are you looking for something specific?
Yes, I would like to go ahead and head towards the general store.
You head inside, and it is there's about 4 or 5 other individuals that are currently in there. It's a okay sized building for this place. It's a bit of a warehouse kind of setup, and there are kind of areas where there's certain collections of specific items, and but almost anything you really want. There's meat. There's some medicine, there's cloth, there's all sorts of things. What are you looking for?
Okay, so Torque walks in. He's gonna take in all of the sights in there for one, but he's gonna start searching around like the various things there, looking for like a Skyrim wheel of cheese.
Okay. You do find an area where there's a bit of a kind of a set of dairy products that are put up. There's a section in the back where it's kind of closed off that is next to it that kind of maybe where some of the other dairy is stored. But there are areas out here that are packed and ready to big wheels of cheese. As you get up to that point, a large bellied man comes up, and he's got kind of short cropped hair. There's a bit of gray in it. He's got kind of like a really curly, very tight beard. And he's currently kind of like wiping his hand. He's got an apron on, but he's got a kind of like massive round belly on him that kind of sticks out. And, what can I help you with there? Because giving you kind of like a look over.
This man loves his cheese.
Torque's just gonna like crouch down and get like kind of awkwardly too close to one wheel and just kind of point at one. How much?
If you want one of those, that's gonna be about 6 silver for one of the wheels.
He'll reach into his belt pouch and just pull out a gold and just like go to grab like 2 of them.
And it's kind of it's going to be a little bit more than that.
He pulls out another and he just hands it.
Okay. Is there anything else you need?
This is fine.
All right. Well, just all right. If you need anything, I guess.
He just stares at them while they're in his hands, and he just kind of like starts leaving the building.
You definitely at this point have a number of people that are just kind of staring at you as you walk out.
I don't even get change for the second gold piece. I just walk out after handing the second one.
No, and he doesn't really argue against it. So,
once I'm out, I start looking around, just trying to figure out where to go to meet up with anyone else, because I didn't pay attention once I learned there was a market here.
Make a perception check for me.
A wonderful 2 on the die for a grand total of 6.
Yeah, you carrying around your wheels of cheese, you immediately get lost, and you're not really sure where exactly you're at. You end up in a small alleyway, and it kind of turns into a dead end. You're like, that's interesting. And you kind of turn around, and there's a bit of like a fence along one side of it, and up on the top of the fence is a small tabby cat that just kind of looks at you.
I hiss back.
It gets like up on its like haunches, the hair sticking up and everything, tail straight up, bushed out.
Torque's
I just like squat down and I'm like ready to pounce at it, still holding the cheese.
Standoff between Torque and a cat.
After a while of doing this, he'll just blink for a couple times, stand up, and just turn and walk out of the alley.
He just kind of like jumps off the fence and scampers off somewhere.
So yeah, that'll be the better part of like 4 or so hours for Torque.
Yeah, pretty much.
I feel like he's that one girl from Azumanga Daioh tries to pet the dog and winds up getting bit.
So the breakfast ends up finishing up. You guys finish your food. Are the siblings gonna do anything else?
I also ordered food for Ainsley, by the way.
Yep. And he's got a nice little plate that's completely cleaned off. Was cleaned off real quick.
I am just gonna continue to drink.
Just gonna drink the day away.
Yeah, we're on holiday.
All right. Give me 2 Constitution saving throws for the day. See how well you can pace yourself.
Really good. The second one was really bad. Con saving is +2. That's gonna be an 18 and then a 5.
Okay. So your sister's pretty good for most of the day. It gets around towards like 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon.
She finds the good ale.
She's the dwarven whiskey is starting to definitely kick in at this point. And you can definitely tell she's getting a decently tipsy, closer to the middle to late afternoon.
So, question, did I have to roll them too since I was also drinking with her?
I mean, if you're trying to keep up, yes.
Okay. Well, that's a 12. 13, sorry. That's a 3.
Yeah, so
Yes!
by the
Yes!
time
A natural
I
1.
fucking win!
by the time 3 or 4 o'clock rolls around, you two are not the only ones in the tavern at this point, and you two are both pretty into your drink. It's still that point where you're like, it's jolly, but you're slurring your speech. You're kind of stumbling a little bit when you stand up.
Lenny!
And the inhibitions have definitely started to leave.
Sharon's gonna come back and it's gonna be like,
Sharon
hey
gets
everyone,
kinda
what's going on in here?
better.
Oh, dear lord.
Shauna, you have
Yeah, at
gotten...
about 3 or 4 o'clock, that would be the end of her spell, so...
Shauna, you would be getting a couple of interested parties, as you are the first elf probably a lot of these people have actually seen, full-on elf. And so there's a number of suitors, as it were, that a couple of like nervous guys that are off to the side eyeing you. A couple of them actually come up and try to buy you a drink.
Hail,
I
however.
will allow them to buy me drink, but like the moment like they're hitting on me in any way, shape, or form that's not purchasing my alcohol, I will start barking.
By the way, Hail is like also
Bark back.
scaring daggers at everyone.
Between the barking elf and the look of disdain from Kale, the tavern eventually leaves you both alone, and you are kind of just on your own, getting day drunk.
We're on holiday.
This wasn't a
You know
good
who our
idea,
god
was it?
is. This was a great idea. What are you talking about?
I mean, you know, just I feel like we're something
This
we're
was the
supposed to be
best idea.
doing.
We should have done this first.
You drive a hard bargain.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I can't. I don't know. I don't.
No, you don't. No, you don't. It's okay. I'm here. Drink up.
I don't have a choice in the matter, do I?
Bad example, sister.
Here, do you need help? Do you need help? Here.
Yep.
So yeah,
This is
that's
how I actually die. It'll be great.
Oh my god.
alcohol poisoning from your sister.
So wait, Shioran comes into the tavern and finds
Oh yeah, you
Him
come
chugging.
in
I'm
and
pouring down Kale's throat. Like,
He's trying to just pour liquor down my
And Kale's it's just like alcohol is going down the side of his face, and you can tell that the bar has given them both a wide berth, and a number of people are kind of like staring in their directions, and yeah, so it's a bit of a sight.
Oh, we're elves. We're crazy, okay?
Sharon just looks at them like, is this normal?
Oh, hey, Sharon.
Is this normal between you and your sister?
It is with me, with my sister, yes.
Okay. Well, I hope you went to
You
enjoy
know who
yourself.
his god is.
No one knows who my god is.
We've never learned.
You told her.
I never told her. I never told anyone.
Here, do you want a drink, Sharon?
Well, I did come to get food after all. It's just been
Oh,
8
yeah.
hours.
Gorthuk is.
This is
good
like
girl. She's
food?
really good.
But liquid.
I know that. I was going to say yes, please.
Good for you. It's
With
good
the
for
food.
you. Here you go.
I'm not drinking like that, though.
Yeah, so you come in and you get like just handed drinks. So whether you drink them or not is up to you. And Gorthuk will make whatever meal you'd like, and eventually, Retribution. Do you eventually find your way to the Overlook, or what do you do after you're done with what you're wandering?
Once I wandered the town, I probably would have wandered outside the town.
All right.
So, probably not.
Where is
It's
Merrick
a-
during all this? Sorry.
He's kind of gone off on his own. You're not sure where he's at. Retribution, you go out into the exterior of Zilspar, and it is a peaceful place. You've been to a couple of places like this in your travels, and whether you enjoy the peace or it's something that's negative to you, that's up to you. But it is definitely quiet. The wind is kind of sweeping over the plains. You can hear the sounds of animals in the town and outside in the farms. You can hear a couple of people talking, and someone like laughs really loud at one point, kind of echoes across the grass. And you get that faint smell of salty air every once in a while as the wind blows in from the ocean. Torque, what do you do after your confrontation with the cat?
The standard.
After that,
infantry.
he would utilize his advanced brain thinks to ask people if they know where the guy with the flaming head is, or the guy with the dog.
Make just a straight charisma check for me.
blue girl
I'm
isn't the one
terrible
you
at
want?
those.
The guy with the dog is so descriptive. Like, I'm sure
Yeah.
there's no
Exactly.
one else in Zilspar that is of AMAB and also has a dog.
All right, that's a 12 on the die, minus 1 for an 11.
It takes you a little bit to find somebody who's actually willing to talk to you, because as not everyone is familiar with who you are.
You mean a 7-foot tall guy, a lizard man with 2 wheels of cheese is not a friendly thing?
Like, so
I feel like the cheese makes them more approachable.
the one thing about Breland, and it's something that you will have discovered as you came in from Groam, traveling with Merrick and Retribution, is that there are a number of individuals that do kind of reside in the area that are more of the monstrous races, like goblins and hobgoblins and orcs and things like that, that are accepted into normal society. It's not as common here, but it is still something that is seen. So they're not like screaming in terror, but people are a little closed off until you find a woman who is kind of like chasing down one of her kids that's like trying to run away, and she comes, grabs him by the collar and stands him up as he starts to like have a fit and tries to just go limp in her arm, and she picks him up and puts him on his feet. You have to listen. You can't be running away from me like that. And she turns and sees, oh, dear. Hi, sorry. You frightened me a little bit there. You look, may I ask what you're doing with the cheese?
He just kind of blinks a few times, looks down at the cheese. I like it.
I can tell.
Sorry. Didn't mean to frighten.
Oh, no, that's fine. I just was paying attention to Isaiah here. He's a bit of a scamp, and you just see this kid just tight-faced. But then looks over at you as you start to talk, and you just see him just get this wide-eyed amazement as he looks up at your fucking 7-foot form. And she kind of stands up, and she's good, like 2 or 3 heads shorter than you are. But she looks up at you with little to no fear at all, and says, I heard some people talk about you and a couple other people showing into town. What was your name again, dear?
Torkrana.
Torkrana. It's definitely a unique one. My name is Elra. This is my boy Isaiah, as I said. Is there something you needed?
Looking for companion.
Oh, well, I did see Kale and that other woman that was with him over at the. And she kind of points in the direction, and you kind of see a building that she points at. That's the Red Cliff Overlook. That's going to be probably where they're still at from, maybe. But you can definitely ask from there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And she kind of like grabs your son's hand and is like, come on, I say, we gotta go. And she kind of walks back, gives you a smile.
He's just gonna like raise one hand and slowly wave and start walking in the direction she pointed.
Okay. You get to the kind of tavern itself, and you can definitely hear some yelling and whooping from inside. And as you get in, you see a table with your allies, and you see Kale and Shauna having some sort of confrontation over something you're not sure of, with Shorin just kind of like sitting with her back against the chair, kind of like she's in the middle of it because Shauna like kind of scooted over, and she's like, they're like arguing at each other on like with Shorin in the middle.
By the way, as he walked away from the two, I just imagined the kid just saying, "Mom, can I be a giant lizard man when I grow up too?"
Something to that effect.
Yeah, Tork will just like tilt his head like a little awkwardly to the side, and then just kind of like walk over and just sit on his heels at their table.
You can get a.
And just stare at them.
You can get a chair if you like.
Hi.
Hello.
He'll slowly put the cheese wheels on the table.
Just
Strange lizard man. Come and have a drink.
Don't drink.
Is there more
I'm
chairs?
sorry. What? You what?
I don't drink.
Neither do I, usually.
And yes, there are other chairs.
I'm sorry. I just can't understand what he's trying to say to me. Can you? I don't understand. These words are not in my vocabulary.
He's gonna like slowly like raise his hand and just tap his head. Makes things hard. Revert to primal.
Oh.
Dangerous.
Yeah. What?
That makes sense.
Okay,
A
no drinking for you.
our cat last time.
You what?
Can't go back.
Oh.
Interesting.
He ate the king's goose.
It's really just Torque in disguise.
And yeah, it goes into the night. Retribution, do you stay out outside the village, or do you go back eventually?
I'd probably go back eventually. I'd probably look for Merrick.
Make a perception check.
All right. Perceptions. Very good. But I rolled well. It's a dirty 20.
All right. Dirty 20. Yeah, you kind of search around the town a little bit for another hour, and then you end up finding Merrick over by the general store, and he's currently leaving. He's got a couple of things in his pack.
Okay.
And, you've been scouting out the town.
Yes. It's a nice place.
It's peaceful. It's
Yes, I noticed.
got a bit of a run of bad luck, unfortunately, but
Well, you know.
well, I think the others are over at the tavern. And if you'd like to join, I'm gonna go find them and figure out what our plans are.
Might as well.
And so yeah, by the time it's now 6 o'clock or so, Retribution and Merrick end up showing up at the tavern. At this point, the place is far more populated. I need the two that are drinking to make a couple more Constitution saving throws for me.
Now, how long have I been inebriated?
If you've just been trying to keep up with your sister and she's keep drinking, you've been
No, she's kind of making me keep up with her now.
Yeah.
So.
yeah. At this point, you guys have been pretty well. Yeah, I mean, let me know what your Constitution saving throws are.
If I recall, I came back at around 3-ish, 3 or 4.
Yeah, about 3 o'clock.
And you'd already been drunk
You
by
go
then.
first.
4 and 3.
Good to know.
Fuck yes, I beat you again! 13 and 4!
Now they're having a drinking contest.
At this point, the table is covered in drinks, empty mugs that are slowly getting taken off the table, and you guys have become a spectacle at this point between the two of them.
I think I've grown the quiet, sad drunk now, by the way.
No.
It might be a good idea to slow down a little bit so we can, keep an eye out tonight.
Yeah, that's true.
You look up and Sharon's kind of like wavering in your vision. There's like two of her for a minute.
I'm waving down for a few cups of water.
Garth goes by. I was like, I think that's plenty. I appreciate the patronage, but I think you maybe had a little bit too much there, Kale.
She's cutting you off.
Nell's not gonna respond. I think I've short-circuited.
I think you maybe have had enough as well there, Shauna.
Listen, Linda. Listen.
You think you say,
I'm
listen,
good.
Linda, comes out, listen, Linda.
I'm good.
I'm sure you are, dear.
Yeah.
And but we're gonna do a little bit of water here. And she puts down a couple of big mugs of water and kind of slides them over. Just drink this. And she brings over some like bread. She's like, eat this, so you won't feel absolutely horrible tomorrow morning.
This isn't my first rodeo.
I can tell.
Sorry.
Torque's gonna go ahead and cut out a sliver of the cheese wheel that he's been eating over the past about 5 hours and just put that on top of the bread for each of them. It is a very meager sliver of cheese, by the way.
That's fine. How much of the cheese have you eaten?
About a third of the wheel.
Good God, man!
He is very tall.
He will never shit again.
You're
I
not gonna
also
shit the next
Can't even be
room.
mad.
Yes.
I'm impressed. That's an increment. Okay.
Oh man.
I love lamb.
See, I made that mistake once. I got a bag of cheese curds. I'm like, ooh, this is delicious. Hey, way too many. Not a good idea. Not a good idea.
My mom and I have a back when I was living with her, we would have this thing where we just bought an entire block of mozzarella cheese from Publix, and like we'd just eat it over the course of the week. So totally know what's going on there.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good. It's makes you a little thirsty, but it's good cheese. But yeah, you just a little clock reaches over the table and places a bit of cheese on top of the bread.
Oh.
You mind if I try some?
Thank you. I love cheese.
That comes out. Oh, cheese.
Kel's gonna spend the next 3 minutes trying to pick up the bread and cheese.
I'm not gonna use my hands.
You just face plant into it.
And then, as Jorn goes ahead and asks for some cheese, Torque will also go ahead and cut her off a sliver.
Thank you.
Merrick takes a bit of his he takes a piece of the bread, piece of the cheese, and then he takes like a bit of like fire from his finger and like melts the cheese over the bread, and then
Torque's eyes go dinner plates.
I would love to do that, but I'm afraid that I'll cut set.
yeah, no fire for you tonight, Kale. I know what you can do with a pan and some ingredients, but it's probably not a good idea.
Don't tempt me.
I think we're gonna get this one off to bed. Probably a good idea. Ainsley at this point has just been kind of like moving around the table, eating whatever crumbs fall off the table itself. Yeah, Mare kind of stands up and he's kind of like goes to try to support you as he gets you up from the table. And it's like, I think I'm gonna take him off to bed. A lot of you had fun. We'll meet up in the morning.
I should probably grab Shauna and do the same.
Mare kind of looks at Shauna.
Any help?
Kind of looks at Shauna, looks at Shiorn. Good luck with that, and and helps Kale out of the building.
Yeah, I'm gonna try
We're
and.
going to the same place.
Torque will continue watching.
Make a dexterity saving throw, Shauna,
You can do it.
with disadvantage.
It's on you. Oh, fuck. Ah! Still a 10.
A 10. Okay. You
It was a fucking like 20 something, but then you were like disadvantage. After I rolled, might I add.
So you stand up. You don't quite like it's like you stand up, and then the room just kind of, and you start to fall to the side, but you kind of like catch yourself in kind of this side plank position, and then just bring one foot over, plant yourself, stand up in this kind of like wide stance. Oh, good.
I'm good. I'm excellent. I will make it.
I need both Kale and Shauna to make one more Constitution saving throw.
Oh
for me.
no. Oh no.
I'm gonna insist on helping.
19.
My con's +2, I think. Saving throw?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
13.
Okay. Yeah. Kale, you're fine. You're just really feeling things kind of spinning a little bit. Shauna, you have a moment where it's kind of like, whoa. Nope. Okay, I'm good. It's just barely there, but not quite.
Yeah, it's right at the back of the throat.
And and you kind of, with help or not, you eventually stumble your way to Valerie's house.
That's okay. I will stop Shiorn along the way and just be like, hold on, I just need to do a tactical bomb.
Just goes over to the side of a house. You just hear.
I hold her hair.
Bonding sisters.
It's okay. Let it out. Let it out. I rub her back. Not circular motion.
I will.
And I'm guessing you all go back to the house, or do you guys find one of you find your own place?
I'm going to the house.
Yeah, the house.
Like I'm gonna pay for a fucking inn while my brother has a whole ass.
Torque would have watched them leave the place where we were just at, and then realized, wait, I don't know where they're going, and I'll never find them, and quickly stand up with his cheese and follow after.
Yeah, sure.
I will never find them in this small, tiny town that has like.
We didn't get
That's
lost
right.
for quite a long time.
This town has 3 streets, and he was lost for 4 hours.
Most of that was in a standoff with the cat. You know, you can't be blamed for that.
Oh my god! We cannot take this guy anywhere.
He's Zorro from One Piece.
Lose him.
This is the opposite of Lyslin in every regard.
What were you gonna say,
Except for
Tori?
collecting things.
I'm gonna go back to the sheep field.
You go back to the sheep field? Alright.
Yeah.
Alright.
Since we
Yeah.
did say we were gonna watch it for another night, I'm gonna go there.
Gotcha.
When Shauna and
Who said the
Kale.
older siblings have to be the best influence?
when Shauna and Kale are in bed, or safe at least, Shiorn also wants to go back there to watch for it.
Oh, it takes probably a good hour to get them settled. But eventually the two of them, I mean, the elf doesn't necessarily need to sleep, but
Might want to.
might want to.
So if you trance while you're drunk,
That's a question for the sages.
what does that affect what you can see?
Alright, they're both a disadvantage anyway.
It's not like acid.
Now, since you
Yeah.
trance and rest in half the time, does that mean your hangover is twice as bad?
No, it means I don't get hangovers.
I do.
Because you constantly stay drunk? So you're always a little drunk?
It's the Hulk line. It's just like, that's my secret. I'm always drunk.
By the way, as I'm back in bed, I'm gonna reach over my nightstand and pull out like a little notepad, and I'm gonna write, "I'm so sorry," and then put it on Ainsley's collar. I say, "Go get that dude, Gortha."
Make a dexterity check.
Okay.
And a constitution check.
Okay.
If that isn't you deserve disadvantage.
You do disadvantage. True.
Okay. So the dexterity is a 14.
Okay. That's a disadvantage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm rolling better now. And the constitution is a 12.
All right. So you get the piece of paper, and you get the pen, and you just started to go through it, and you get through "I'm sore," and then just passed out right on the piece of paper.
That's dangerous with a pen in your hand.
You still got the pen in your hand. You're drooling on the paper, like you're just out.
Can I just have Ainsley grab the pen and just like put that away from me?
Ainsley just kind
So
of
you
like
don't lose clues yourself.
Yeah.
Ainsley just kind of like goes in a circle, lays next to you, and it just kind of like puts his head on your lap, just kind of like looking up at you with this kind of like worried gaze, but just sticks by you at the very least throughout the night.
Awesome.
The ones that go back out to the field, which does include Shioran, Retribution, and Merrick. Torque, if you would like to join as well, it's up to you.
Yeah, as long as I've got someone to lead me, I'll be fine.
All right. Merrick's like, as he's like walking with you, he says, "You can leave the cheese at the house, man. Like, it's not gonna go anywhere."
Animals. Dog.
I'm pretty sure they've got a store.
Cheese.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sure he's got a barrel to lock it in or something.
Yeah, they gotta store their food somehow. But anyways, that's fine. We can feed some of the sheep. I don't know, does sheep eat cheese? I don't know. I'm not much of a farmer myself.
Would I know?
I don't know. Do sheep eat cheese?
I don't think so.
I know they're herbivores.
Typically, they don't.
Yeah, you
Maybe
guys.
if it was sheep milk cheese, though.
Yeah.
You head out into the field, and how long do you guys stay out there?
About the same time as last night before, like when they attacked last time. I guess would be the basic ideal.
Yep. You spend up to about like 10, 11 o'clock out there. It gets dark, the stars come out, and the most of the sheep have kind of like settled in, are all laying around. The shepherds are just kind of there, keeping each other company, keeping each other talking. They're playing, you can see that they're playing kind of some games with each other just to keep themselves entertained while they're out there. They got lanterns next to them, keeping an eye on the flock. And nothing seems to happen up to that point.
You think we're
In
good?
that time that they're entertaining themselves, Torque is going to just slowly be creeping closer, kind of like stalking along the ground, just like watching them play.
They seem to be playing some sort of card game. You can make an intelligence check to see if you can figure out what the rules are.
That is a straight 13.
You get that it is a bit of a quick game, and they seem to kind of go through rounds, probably about like every 2 or 3 minutes. You don't get quite how the point system works. as they're not really saying all of it out loud, they're more just like, ah, damn it, and one of them slaps your cards down, or whatever. So it's, you don't quite get the rules, but it seems to be a kind of like slapping down cards, and for whatever reason, there's point values associated with them that they are trying to get to a certain one or a certain like number. You're not really sure, but they seem to be keeping up on that. One of them does kind of like look over at you at one point, like, doesn't really say anything to you, but just kind of goes back to the game.
Yeah, he'll like meet his eyes, blink, and then just look back at the cards.
You guys head back to town after that allotted time.
Should we, or
I
should we
don't.
stay for a little longer?
Retribution is they're gonna set up their tent.
Hmm.
They don't like sleep inside normally, anyways. So
I think
Right.
I'll stay too.
Mark will stay out there as well. Let's be safe.
Hmm.
Do some watches. And
Probably looks good to looks like makes the excuse me. My brain kind of went in a different direction than I was starting to speak. It probably makes the shepherds feel a little bit better that we're just making sure that things don't happen again.
and you guys set up your watches, and the night passes without really any incident. And before we get to the next morning, we'll take our break here. It's been about over an hour and a half, so we'll take the 15-minute break and be back at. We'll just come back at 25.
sounds good.
Sounds all right.
All right, we will be back.
I am gonna have to skedaddle. It is getting way too hot up here, and I'm not doing very well.
That's
But
okay.
I will send you what Shauna would do.
Okay.
And that sort of thing. Because I'm dying.
That's fine.
All right. Well, feel better. Hopefully it
Yeah,
gets
do your
cooler.
best to cool off.
Love you guys, bye. Dude, it's like upstairs, and I'm pregnant, so like it's hot already, and it's summer, and my fan isn't working properly, and I'm just oh,
Mm.
All right, see you guys.
I'm not having a good time. But yeah, bye.
Bye.
All right. There was a moment, Zangetsu, where I was like, while you were doing the searching, and I was just imagining you holding up the cheese and doing a grin, like a toothy grin, and going, "Cheese."
Pretty much.
Jeez.
Cheese. Oh, before I forget again for like the fourth time, the Philosopher Tentacles and Pokepools 801. Thanks for the follow. All right, haven't forgotten it this time. We'll be back in a bit. I have cookie. Hello, Zangetsu.
I considered coming back with just a block of cheddar, but I didn't.
And just slowly eat it over the rest of the session.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm gonna have to ask Kale to cook something for you, because he'll blow your mind with that wheel of cheese.
It sounds like your mic is really far away.
Because it's on top of my head.
Okay.
I was saying that if you ever asked Kale to cook you something with that big old wheel of cheese, he'll blow your mind. Because I'll make that one where you actually like heat up the knife and you like cut off the cheese and it melts over like pasta. Or the one where you hollow it out and then you put like the pasta in there and then like set it on fire.
I didn't know pasta flambe was a thing. I'm glad I had that nap earlier, because I'm wide awake right now.
I didn't get much of one.
I'm at 21 hours awake.
Been there.
So you're tired as hell.
No, thanks to fabulous Rockstar energy drinks. Totally not sponsored, but please do.
It's the only way we function.
And it was the only thing that got me through my semester at college.
I've never had Rockstar.
Do not take philosophy as your first class in the morning.
That sounds like something that's big think and you don't want to think a lot in the morning.
Dude, my philosophy class focused on the philosophy of religion, when that was an entirely separate class.
Oh, that sucks.
So what's Rockstar
Also, there were
taste
like 2 kids that were like way too good for how young they were. They were like legitimately babies.
I don't think I set foot in the college until after I was already in my career. And it was for like a festival. But I remember like taking a look at the portfolio for all the classes I needed to teach to like major in the subject that I would have to advance my career in. And I was like, so I want to be a computer science major, so why am I taking like philosophy and things like that? I'm like,
if a function comes back negative, did it
seems
truly
like
come
a
back
pyramid scheme. You have to sign up for all this other stuff just to get what you need.
Did you hear what I said?
No, I didn't.
If a function comes back negative, did it truly come back at all? Computer science philosophy.
Fuck you. Tell you what though, I like not having any pressure at work. It's nice. This is the weirdest notice period I've ever been in, where I wasn't even contacted until today. Like Today was the first day they acknowledged my resignation.
They didn't say anything about it until today?
Not a darn thing.
That's wild.
What did they say?
That the reason I was leaving was not applicable with their software, so if I could choose a different one. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Kind of surprising.
How does it even work?
Well, it doesn't. That's the point.
Yeah, I know, right?
Was that a joke? Is that what's going on?
Let me take a look here.
Because I know you said, like, no one seems to have a sense of humor, so it's kind of hard to imagine that being a joke.
Man, I'm just thinking, what all can I do with those flying horror bones?
Make an axe? I'm sure it would give some kind of special function.
I've got this wild idea that if you really think about it, that would be like a perfect material for like making pipes of haunting.
I hope I did not leave IPA lot. I just got your name.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't leave them hanging too long saying hi.
It was 4 minutes. It'll be fine.
They gave me this exit checklist that I have to go through.
Let me guess, one of them is returning any specific items or something?
Yeah, I gotta return all the stuff they gave me. Which is perfectly fine with me. I don't like using Macs, especially for work.
Wait, what's a good idea?
I'm pretty sure that's in reference to the bones for pipes of haunting materials.
Ah, yeah, that would actually make sense. It's all good, just dropping in. Followed a while back, but haven't been able to check out your channel. Playing IRL with your DM. Yeah. I think I...
He's gonna kill you all.
He holds no quarter, don't do dumb shit.
Death whistle.
Do not make eye contact.
Well, welcome to the channel. We play
But yeah, I'm really glad like you all said no to Torque going to help rustle the sheep, because the idea would have just been this rogue raptor man just tearing after them and just terrifying them.
Yeah, Shioran had that handled, apparently. I was expecting to roll low and wind up scaring them even more. It's kind of funny in my mind, the idea of just like this blue fluff ball moving in around in the in all of the other white fluff balls.
I'm wondering
Like
which
a
of the
Minecraft
five.
sheet.
I'm wondering which of the 5 nations is the most like France. Under Brelin, Sire, Karnath, and Thrain. I wonder.
If I remember the lore well enough, I think it's Andwar.
Andwar. Under.
Or Uender.
Yeah, under.
Also, I love the pronunciation guides for both Old Sire and for Droam. Because
Well,
for Sire, there is canonically no correct way to pronounce it, and everyone pronounces it differently. While Droam, people outside of it, the non-monstrous races call it Droam, while those that come from there call it Drome.
I think I need to wait on this because Retribution will be in front of me if I recall correctly. QRS, yeah. Retribution, okay. Yeah, I'll wait until.
All I noticed is that right now I'm Shauna, so.
Yeah, sorry.
Brother, drinking. I'm picking on you. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, so sorry. I was going to reorganize the names, and then I realized that Tori's will be in a different spot, so I should just wait until she gets back. It's easier than trying to predict it and coming up wrong. Alright. Man. I see a fluff ball on your bed, and it just jumped off.
I think I know exactly what Kel's gonna say when he wakes up.
Ow, my head?
Yes. What on earth? What did I do last night?
I was considering saying to Shauna, you know, this reminds me of the time I got drunk with your brother while we were here. And seeing what she said, but kind of got away from me.
And for those that are wondering, Torque did in fact nestle down in another hole, but he slept on top of the cheese to protect it.
Dirty cheese.
Slept on top of the cheese. That's where I came in.
Yes.
He's gonna wake up and find bugs on the bottom side.
He'll eat those too.
It's just more flavor for Torque.
Add some crunch to the cheese.
And some protein.
She would have said she taught him well. Alright, there we go. I'm gonna do some modifying. Nope, that's not what I wanted. And there's our DM. Hooray!
Howdy, howdy.
Welcome back, DM.
All right. Now, morning comes to Zilspar. The people out in the field wake up to another morning fog and a bit of a cooler day. But the sheep are all there. The morning shift of the shepherds come through and relieve the ones from the night so they can go take rest. The Kale, when you wake up, you are hungover.
Oh, yep.
Head is pounding, like every movement makes it feel like you want to puke. You do end up puking pretty quickly after you do start moving around. But you get yourself gathered, and you look around the house, and none of your friends are there, and your sister's not there either.
Do I have any knowledge of what happened last night?
Up till Torque showed up. Past that, not really.
Oh, fuck. My head feels like there's a siren living in it.
You kind of hear this from Ainsley at your ankle, and then all of the plethora of other noises from all the other animals in the house as well.
Shut up! Please.
You're like, oh, that was too loud.
One request at a time. And I cast Speak with Animals.
We're hungry. He stinks. He bit me. It's just stupid stuff like that.
Do you all know what I went through last night?
You also have the start of an I'm sorry note underneath your face.
Oh, yeah.
You guys
He
know
wakes
it's
up
touching
with-
my face.
You
He
wake
wakes
up.
up
No,
with the
he's got
paper on his
sore
cheek.
written across his face from sleeping on the note.
Yeah. Well, it's Orse at that point.
Horse.
Orse. And it's just smeared ink at this point on your cheek. But they're like, no, you came back with the firehead. And then they all left. And then a few hours later, your sister left.
Oh, the farm. Yeah. Okay. Y'all behave. Food. I grabbed some food from there. I just divvy it out. Put it back. No drama, or so help you every god that you could worship.
A couple. What's a god?
Me. At this point, okay?
You can hear a couple of them. Okay, God.
Kale just started a new religion.
It was only a matter of time.
Except for Tinkles, and he's all like, but I'm right here.
Meow.
Yeah. No drama. Please.
Are you taking Ainsley with you?
Yes.
Okay.
And
then-
I pet Ainsley, and I kind of rub his ear a little bit. I said, "I'm sorry, buddy."
It's just, you seemed very out of sorts.
What happens when my sister visits?
She's energetic.
Sure, we'll go with that. Come on, I need your help.
You head out from there, and I'm guessing you go towards the herds.
Yep.
You head out there, and you're getting there after everyone else has woken up and has already kind of gotten their stuff together. And you see that your sister is actually out with them. The rest of you, when you guys woke up, you woke up to Shauna coming back, and she's moving, but she's definitely at a slower pace. Her eyes are kind of squinty. You can see that they're bloodshot. Like, she's not at her best. Which, by the way, Shauna and Kaylee both have a level of exhaustion from the hangover. When you get there, Shauna explains that she decided, since she finished her rest and was bored of waiting, that she went to investigate a little bit along the coast. So she spent a couple hours out there. She said, I didn't see anything out from where she was. But that does go a ways. So there's still probably more to discover. And the shepherd did say it was like a day and a half from to wherever these rumors are supposed to take place.
Yeah, we should probably head out that way. I'm forgetting something, though.
What are you forgetting?
I don't know.
Merrick's like, he wouldn't have forgotten if he knew what it was.
Torque is gonna pull out a piece of paper and it is written the entirety of the events that he was observing that night in the bar. And he just goes over it staggeringly as he reads.
So you get a broken account, but a detailed account of the previous night's shenanigans.
I should really write a letter to Gortha saying I'm sorry.
You still have that sneer on your face?
Yep.
Could you have forgotten to wash whatever this is off?
What is what?
Sure,
Bad war paint.
War paint. I don't wear war paint. I don't wear war paint.
Oh. Yeah, I figured that wasn't something you normally wear. Jordan's going to use the decanter of endless water to get some water and cast shape water to use it to like wipe it off of his face.
I was expecting just to get blasted in the face by water.
Nope, I'm
That's
going
like-
mom here.
Katara style, just like
Yeah.
I don't think I can do that with shape water.
We're gonna say you can. 'Cause whatever.
Okay.
It's more of like, it's not like a solid like water bending, like just a perfect little thing. It's more of like a getting kind of like splashed in the face with water. But hey, it definitely wakes you up. It's cold.
Did I manage to
Quick
get it
question
off?
about what size is the decanter, like, in your world? Like, is it about the same size as a typical water skin?
That's pretty big.
It's a decently sized thing. It's more of like an elongated thing, but
Okay.
I mean, if that thing's gonna pump out 30 gallons of water, yeah, it's gonna be at least decently sized.
Well,
I just want to check and see if that would have, like, triggered any, like, size differentiations
Oh.
in Torque's mind, but nah.
I'm sorry. I don't need to use shape water. I can just do a geyser of 30 gallons.
A
Does
geyser.
the hose scale down?
And then I guess shape water to dry him off somewhat. There, it's gone now.
Merrick helps you with prestidigitation.
I think you washed off my pride too. Thanks.
Shauna is laughing, but at the same time holding her head because the laughing is making her head hurt, but she can't stop laughing at the same time.
Right. Okay. I am awake now.
Definitely clear.
I am
Those
lucid.
pots?
I am lucid.
Okay.
And you guys then head on your way. Which way are you guys going?
I guess we're gonna head to where Shauna was exploring a bit, because I want to get Ainsley to start looking.
All right.
Does anyone have one of those bones?
Oh, we were going to say
Torque just casually holds up a sack full of them.
Can I have one of those, please?
He reaches in and pulls one out.
Thank you. I grab it, and
Are they still pretty?
Yeah.
Excellent.
and I hold it to Ainsley's nose,
All right.
and I say, "This is not for eating."
And he sniffs it.
Obviously.
Make just a simple like perception check for him at advantage. And then what were you going to say, Tori?
was the way that the flying horrors, like, were trying to escape to the same way that Shauna was exploring?
She was a little bit more towards the coast than they were flying, but yeah, similar.
Okay. That is a 20. Flat 20.
All right. You see him kind of like sniff the bones a little bit and then gets down on the ground and sniffs around. You see him kind of meander over towards kind of the direction of where the now mostly gone ash pit was, and then veers off towards the southwest a little bit and then barks and kind of waits for you guys to follow.
All right. Head on out.
And you guys start following Ainsley's lead. And is there anything else you guys want to do during the day as you guys are traveling? Because this kind of goes on for a while as you guys just head into the grasslands that lead out on into the peninsula.
I don't think I have anything specific I want to do.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything. Mainly just following it and seeing what's going on with this stuff. When we get close to the area, I do want to summon both my trident and sickle, though.
That's fine. It's about you get mostly through the day. It gets a little cloudy partway through the day. The wind picks up definitely from the ocean, and so you're kind of having to hold down things that are kind of more susceptible to get blown away, and it's loud. You can see the wind is kind of blowing through, making like waves in the unkept longer grass that's about like a little bit above ankle height, and it as you get closer to the coast itself, you can see that it's a large, just kind of swath, a length of cliffside that goes down and veers up and down at varying angles, kind of veers outwards and then dips back in towards inland. And there's a small shore along the bottom of the cliff, about a good, at this point, probably a good 150 feet down, that the waves are kind of crashing in on as you guys look over the edge, and you can see it's a pretty sheer drop. You might be able to catch yourself on like a small outcropping or whatnot, but it's pretty sheer all the way down. And you guys continue that way for the day. By the time you guys get to where it starts to get dark, you could definitely tell a difference in the landscape in that it gets less grassy and there's less trees and more rocky, kind of gravelly terrain, more kind of rough brush. And what is the strange thing is at one point you guys are moving through, and Torque, you're kind of off to the side of the group a little bit, and you're moving through some bushes, and your leg hits one of them, and you hear this loud just and you look down real quick, and you're not sure what you see at first. Your brain sort of registers it as a squirrel, but it has two heads, one on top of the other, and the teeth are really long, longer than they should be, and it's got more like sharp claws than it actually should just have, and the tail is really kind of sparse and patchy, and it just kind of like hisses at you and then just scampers away.
As it runs off, I want to try and bite it.
Go for it. Make a bite attack against it.
Sharon's just like, that's not normal, is it?
No.
I think I hit with a natural 16, but would
Yes,
my
you do.
+7 make it better?
You definitely hit. And that's the thing. You guys don't know what he finds. You just hear the crashing through the bushes. You hear a loud, like, screeching, and then you see Torque just disappear into the bush and just... And then he just comes up with a bloody
like
mouth.
The, like the Duck Hunt dog with his bloody squirrel in my jaws. Still holding the cheese in one hand.
He's got some protein to go with his dairy.
Including the bugs.
And including, at this point, you do see the two-headed squirrel.
My bow is now out.
Yeah, if I didn't have it out before, then I definitely have my weapons out now.
It looks strange.
Yeah, I've had that now.
How does it taste?
Horrible. It tastes, you bite into it, and what you're used to when you bite into living creatures, when you go to eat, you're used to the kind of like the splash of blood and whatever in your mouth. It's nothing new in that regard, but instead of that, you get a kind of an oozy, viscous texture to it, and it has a bit of an ashy taste to it.
Kind of like biting into like a rancid pistachio.
Yeah.
Is it a similar taste? Sorry, I know I'm not Torque Rana, but is it a similar taste to when he was biting into those flying creatures?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Then as he like registers that he does have this in his mouth, he's gonna go ahead and spit it out into his hand.
And it is a grotesque sight. It's no longer moving. You easily killed it with the damage you normally do. And but it's a strange thing where they're not two separate heads. It's literally the top head is top of the head, eyes, snout, bottom jaw, and then down, and you can see part of like the forehead of another squirrel, and then another snout, and then teeth, and the rest of the body.
Mm.
I'm glad I threw up earlier.
Tastes bad. Rot.
Doesn't look good either.
Doesn't look natural, at least.
America's going to come over and kind of examine it a little bit. This definitely doesn't bode well. You feeling okay, Torque?
Would you like some water to wash it out?
Geyser in the face.
No, I can just do a
Just
small
opens his jaw as wide as he can.
So I'm not gonna use geyser. I'm just gonna use the basic one. What was it?
Too bad.
Stream produces 1 gallon of water. And it
Still a lot of fucking water.
Yeah, but it just trickles. The geyser actually has a thing where you can actually spray it out.
Mhm.
Stream just trickles out.
Yeah, it starts kind of pouring out and quickly wash it out of your mouth. Do you guys continue, or is there anything else you guys wanted to do?
Have I seen Shioran refill that fancy water skin of hers?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
There
Could
is
I make
no limit to
an
this thing.
intelligence check to figure something out about that?
Sure. Make an intelligence check. Are you trained in Arcana?
I am not.
Okay, so yeah, intelligence.
And I don't believe this roll. It's a natural 19.
By the way, Shioran has
For
by
a
now
19.
figured out that surface dwellers don't really like salt water, so it would be fresh water.
You do see that you remember with your studies some of the things that you discovered and
help catalog?
With Fulwin. And it's not something you actually recognize what it is, but you do know of items that have certain magical properties that allow them to produce stuff almost endlessly. And this might be one of those things. You can definitely recognize that it is magical and that it has some sort of property around just not having to fill it up with water.
After getting a great, just water pick out to wash that taste out of his mouth and registering that, he's gonna like really stare at it and get really close, kind of like as awkwardly as he did the cheese. Magic water skin.
Yes. We never discussed how I got it, but would it be reasonable to say that Shioran created it using the Creator Destroy Water spell?
The decanter?
Yeah.
No, the decanter itself is, you could easily say you got it from your people because that's kind of the Brighton's thing, is that they come from the elemental plane of water, and that's where the water for the decanter comes from, is the elemental plane of water, because
that
it's
does make
a source
sense.
of water.
Right. Yes, I got it when I wrote home to my family. They sent it to me. It comes in handy. Takes away one spell that I don't really need to prepare in the morning.
You went down to the shores of Sharn at one point, and the dolphin came and delivered you a package.
His name's Finley.
That is kind of canon now.
Finley the dolphin.
I just thought about this dolphin that's wearing like this Amazon Prime.
It was a 2-day delivery.
A 2-day delivery from a 3-day trip. Interesting.
Doesn't actually deliver it to you. He drops it off in the ocean. You just have to go find it.
You have to find it.
It's like those drop boxes. Yeah. It's like those drop boxes you could get, like packages delivered to over there now.
If you ever feel thirsty, I have enough water for everyone.
Can fill holes.
Yes.
Water bed.
Water bed? I mean, if we need to.
With that, he's gonna keep walking forward.
All right. You guys
Sharon's
get
just a little confused because, like, is he wanting a water bed? A bed made of actual water?
I mean, I want a water bed, but you know.
Merrick kind of steps by as you're kind of looking at Torque in confusion. He's like, he'll ask for what he needs when he needs it, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
He's very curious.
Well, the offer stands for everyone, too, by the way. Y'all need water.
I'm good, but thank you.
Torque will also go ahead and take out his homemade shield and Yukul as they're walking forward now.
Okay. The sun is starting to crest past the horizon, and you guys end up having to make camp if you're going to sleep for the night.
Me.
The area is definitely a little bit more rough. Not necessarily rough terrain, you can't move through it, but it's just rougher country. It's not soft beds of grass. It's gravel and dirt and boulders and whatnot that kind of has transitioned from that grassy plain land you guys were in over most of the day. And you start to see more of those strange kind of like woodland creatures. Not a lot of them, but every once in a while you see like a mouse with 2 tails, or a bird that has a 3rd claw. It's just strange amalgamations of creatures. At one point you actually see a what almost looks like a groundhog, but it has like a beak instead of a normal snout. It's a strange situation.
I shoot it.
I feel like we're in a what's that show? Shit, I need to double check on Netflix to remember what it's called.
Um,
Something in the Age of the Wonder Beast. I can't remember the main character's name.
Oh, Kiba? Is that it?
Something like that.
The platypus.
shoot the platypus. That's what you want to call it. Yeah, you kill it, and it still has, and you can tell as you can like pull the arrow out and look at it. It's got a bit of that viscous kind of like liquid where its blood should be. It's this kind of blackish gray, almost like an ooze. Almost, it's gross, and it smells a mix of burnt ash and rotten meat.
Kipo, by the way.
These things. Let's see here.
That me?
Your mic's kind of cutting out.
Slight bit. Yeah.
Sounds like interference almost.
Okay.
That's better.
Better.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That just.
All right. So there's a lot of animals like this, right?
Not like I said, not a lot. You just maybe see one or two as you guys are settling down to camp. But
Okay.
there's not a lot animal. Not a lot.
It's the fact that we're seeing a lot of these mutations is the
Mhm.
weird thing, I think.
Yep.
Uh-huh. So I'm going to suggest that I keep watch first, and I'm going to ask, hey, does anyone have any string here?
What? What'd you ask
Like-
for? Sorry.
String or rope?
I have rope.
I have both.
Can I just have a little segment of it?
I'll hand you my string.
Okay. And I'm going to get a few sticks. I'm going to build a small trap
Okay.
that will. I'm going to put a little bit of food in it.
Okay.
And I want to use this trap to capture, not kill. Right? So it's just going to drop it on there and stop it, but it's not going to
Gotcha.
crush it.
Give me a survival check.
That is a 21.
Yeah, you easily come up with this this device pretty quickly. You've built it before, and you just kind of set it off to the side of the camp, away from the outside of the light of whatever campfire you have, and away from the people, so it's not discouraged by the scent or proximity.
And that was 10 feet of string, so if you have extra, you can keep it.
Okay.
You guys set up your watches. Yes,
I wanna-
sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I want to do one more thing.
Go for it.
This is more of a suggestion. I can create an area around us that would make it hard for creatures to move around in it. Though they would take longer to get to us if anything wants to attack us.
Yeah, that'd be good.
How long does it last?
It doesn't really have a duration. It just says instantaneous.
What's the spell?
It's plant growth. The other use of it.
Oh, yeah. No, you just cast that and just well, that's the thing. There has to be actual foliage in the area,
Is there none?
and there's more. It's really just a lot of gravel and dirt at this point.
Then that wouldn't help.
Yeah.
Okay, then never mind. Nick Stack suggestion.
You said the creature Kale shot was about the size of a groundhog, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I were to use Cunning Artisan, how many darts could I make out of its skeleton?
Just read it real quick here. I'd say roll me a 1d4. See how many get yet.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and ask Kale for the creepy groundhog, and if he gives that, totally.
Yeah, I give it up. I'm gonna catch one alive next. So
I got 3.
All right, so you make 3 darts. What you do find as you're dissecting this thing is that most of its skeleton seems to be the same, but the parts of it that are around the skull where the beak connected to the snout itself, that area has the same black, shiny features of the skeletons of the flying horrors. Everything else on the creature is normal. It's just that part of the skull. It's almost kind of like the beak area was fused to the skull by this type of material, and it's like changed the skull in that area.
Okay, after I've, fashioned most of the darts, I'm gonna go ahead and, stare at that in my claws. And offer it over to Kale after he's set up his trap. Same as bones.
yeah, that's one of the reasons I want to capture one alive. Because you said the squirrel thing tasted like one of those creatures that we killed. So if it is connected, I kind of want to catch one alive. I got a few ways to maybe get some ideas of what's going on here.
Anything else anyone wanted to do?
Tork will go ahead and dig his hole again, and when he's done with, something that looks serviceably deep, he will approach Sioran to ask her to fill it.
Oh. Okay. She goes ahead and does it.
Okay. And over the course of a number of minutes, it fills up the little ditch you made with water. Turns obviously muddy pretty quick, but...
Yeah, after that, Tork just takes off, what few pieces of, leather and cloth he actually does wear, sets them off to the side and kind of, piles them off and tops them with his backpack, and then just crawls into the muddy water, and just his, the top of his head with his nostrils are peeking out
Crocodile in it.
Fucking gator style.
Is that comfortable?
You don't get any, words, just, a small, gator croak out of him.
From under the water.
All right, well.
Watch your step in the mornings.
Mm-hmm.
Set up my tent.
Yeah. So, wet my sleeping bag.
Why'd you sleep?
Phrases that you never expected to hear.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if saying you moistened it is any better, so I...
No,
Yeah.
moisten is an awful word.
There are all kinds of things
Crevices
you can
in.
say to this to make it even worse, and oh man.
Yeah, no, you guys set down for the night, and as you guys go through your watches, each individual person, as you're kind of looking around, doing your perimeter watches, it's a gnawing feeling like something's watching you. It's just that, you can feel it in the back of your neck, that you turn around and you're expecting someone just to be right behind you, that feeling of just someone is looking at you. You turn around and there's nothing. And it's just kind of laid out in the dark, and you can hear off to the side, because you guys are decently close. You're traveling along the coastline, so you can hear the of the waves crashing down below. Some wind blowing in from there. But Nothing disturbs you in the night. Retribution. When you are asleep, you have a bit of a fitful dream. It's a strange, kind of a couple of flashes of images of a lot of color and shapes that don't really quite make sense, but you do get a quick flash of something of a large stone slab that has a number of arcane glyphs and circles seemingly carved into it. And it seems to be in the middle of some sort of, in some stoned area. And you get this feeling of foreboding from it. And it's just a kind of a quick part of your dream. And then it kind of goes back to like the discordant colors and shapes and images. And then you eventually wake up.
All right.
And yeah, then you guys continue on the next morning, I'm guessing.
Yep.
Good.
And
Probably discuss how we felt like we were being watched the whole night.
I go and check the trap too.
Yes. So you check the trap, and you quickly realize that it did catch something. This is an actual reptile. It's a snake, but instead of a snake's head, it's a frog's head. And it's very strange as it's a kind of like a black and green type of snake body that leads to the end of this kind of warty green skinned frog head that looks up at you. The tongue kind of goes out, but then it goes.
Does it still have the fangs?
You can't see inside the mouth at the moment, but there's just like a little snake tongue whips out, but then the throat like engorges, just it ribbits at you. It is a very strange sight.
I'm going to cast Speak with Animals.
Same.
All right. What do you say to it?
Good morning.
All you get is it kind of like croaks, and you just hear pain. Make it stop. Pain. And you're hearing this as a dual voice coming from this creature.
What happened to you?
Pain. Pain. Make it stop.
I cast Lesser Restoration.
Does that require touch, or is that a distance?
I will, if I have to touch it, then I will do the full-on how I learned it from Crocodile Hunter. Let me see here. It is touch. So yeah, Crocodile Hunter.
All right. So yeah, you go to touch, and this thing, as you get close to it, reacts out of whatever. It just says no pain, and turns its head and is going to make an attack roll on you real quick. For a natural 19, plus it's 2 to hit you, so it's 21 to hit you.
Oh yeah, that hits.
And it does, when it opens its larger like frog mouth, it has these long fangs on either side of it, and it bites into you, doing max damage is 6 points of damage. And make a Constitution saving throw for me real quick.
Oh, that's good. That's a natural 20 on the con save.
Oh yeah, you pull your hand back, and the blood is kind of running down your hand as two large fang marks are in your hand. It's like making your hand kind of shake, and the creature just kind of coils up at one end of it. Just pain, no more pain.
I got a stick. And I like one of those forked sticks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to put the stick in there and I'm going to force its head down into the ground.
Okay.
And then I'm going to touch it and try to cast that spell.
All right. And so you cast a lesser restoration spell on it. What is your intention with this spell?
To try to attempt to. It's obviously in pain. I'm trying to ease its pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
So try to stop whatever is hurting it, or just try to dull it a bit, you know?
Mm-hmm. The magic coalesces and passes through the creature, and you see it struggling against the stick that you have, it holding down its head.
I'm gonna help hold that stick down.
Yeah, it's not strong enough to really resist Kale, but it's struggling regardless. And the magic suffuses through it, and it seems to ease a little bit. And it kind of looks up at you and just says, "Dark. Pain.
Who did this to you?
Eyes."
Eyes?
Eyes. And you see it kind of have, like, you saw all of a sudden it stiffens and starts to, like, seize as the whole body just kind of starts to shake and tense up, and then it goes limp.
Well, what did you do to it? Seems a painful way to go.
We didn't do anything to it, it just...
Are you sure? Kale touched it, and then it started wiggling, and then it died.
I think this thing was on its way out anyways. I think
What
all
happened?
these animals are. They're all in pain.
And you didn't kill it to
Well,
take it out of its pain?
I did. I eased its pain.
I was planning on doing so if, once we got all the info we could, but didn't have to, apparently.
You eased its pain of existence. I'm just kidding. No, it was kind of one of those.
Had like a normal snake body, right?
Yep.
So, did it seem like it was, like, it was getting, like, I'm sorry, my brain, where did I want to go with this? Did it seem like telling us about the eyes is what killed it? Like, some outside force acted on it?
You didn't see anything that would suggest that. You saw that it was almost a situation where make a medicine check for me. You and Kale
Okay.
could both make one.
Medicine check.
That's
Yeah.
8.
Oh, that's okay. I rolled a 15.
15. Kale, you kind of surmised that this thing, with the amount of pain that was coming from its being, is that it was honestly staying alive just from the pure fact of the pain it was dealing with. And then when you eased it, whatever tension and like adrenaline that was keeping this thing going eased away, and that was enough to put its body into shock and just kind of couldn't survive past
Where's
that.
to go?
Yeah.
How is that? It's rough, buddy.
Oh, no longer hurting now.
It's probably for the better. It said something about eyes. Like,
I'm going to chop its head off.
Any context to the eyes?
no, it just
No.
said that and then died.
That said, though, do you all kind of feel weird.
Do we still feel like we were being watched?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're definitely being watched.
Yeah, probably what the eyes are, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps.
You cut its head off, and you can tell it's the same kind of thing. You kind of skin a little bit off of it, and it's got that same viscous blood to it. And the area of the bottom of the frog's kind of like part torso, where it attached to the skin of the snake itself, is that same black, shiny, almost obsidian type of material. And it's strange because the skin was completely smooth. The transition from like snake scale to frog skin, but there didn't seem to be there was no stitch marks. There was no anything like that. It was a smooth transition, almost like it was natural, but obviously it's not.
You think this might be an experiment, like the things we found in that village? It's different. Not hacked together, more like fused, but...
Well, it has been over 6 months since that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they got better. They got more practice in.
Possibly. That's just a working theory right now, though.
I know, I just wish was it Air or was it Weisland who was carrying those things from the Acklid bodies?
How was there's some teeth.
Lyslin was primarily the one that had the teeth. I believe it was
wasn't
Violet that
Violet
had
had
the crystals.
Yeah, Violet had the crystals.
Yep.
I completely forgot about those.
Meanwhile, Merrick has the notes that were in mundane mage language. Lyslin had the notes that were in undercommon, and Violet had the spellbook.
Who all was with me in the room when we talked to that person?
Near one?
Yeah.
Everyone but Lyslin
Kale.
and possibly Kale.
Okay. So Merrick's the only one who would remember it.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, Kale would remember you talking about it. But yeah. Merrick kind of looks over and says, possibly. Though, whatever that person was doing was definitely more of a, as you said, kind of like stitched together, crude, golem science almost, where this seems to be, I'm not sure exactly.
Side
what
effect,
it is.
maybe?
They seem to have attributes of those abominations, but they don't seem to be abominations themselves. Abominations, aberrations.
Both work equally well.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I'm not really well versed in aberrations. And how they come to be. Not exactly something I learned in scripture, as I say.
Well, I guess. Go ahead.
As you guys are kind of like all around discussing this, Kale, you feel a sudden on your back, where your bow is, and you immediately go to attention and turn as you see a number, as you kind of turn around and there's a spear that's not quite at face, but is pointed at you. and you all kind of turn around as Kale comes to attention and turns around, and you see that there are a number of spears, probably about 20 of them, that are currently in this kind of ring around you. They not sure where they exactly came from, but you look past the spears to who's holding them, and there are a number of what most of you would recognize as goblins, but these things are really weird. They are very short and stout, but it is a goblinoid type of head, but it doesn't have like a distinguished head. It looks like it's just got like a mound off of its shoulders. It's just kind of it's like one big torso with like a kind of a mound on where its neck would be. It doesn't have an actual neck itself. With some eyes, a nose, but then two mouths that are literally on top of each other. It's literally like mouth, and then on the bottom half is another mouth that is just, and two sets of teeth in both, with both of them. And they are all they're gray skinned, very short, scraggly, and they've got loincloths and tattered armor, and these spears that they're all holding in your guys' directions. And you hear a number of chittering and chatting. Does anyone understand Goblinoid?
I do.
You understand a bit of it as they are talking about bring the master, he wants to see, bring the master. And it's the kind of talking from there. And as you guys are kind of looking around, as the spears are all kind of centered around there, they're probably about 10 feet off from each of you, so you guys aren't they're not right on top of you, but you guys are kind of surrounded. We'll call it there.
All right.
Well,
Great. Being brought to master again is something that never ends well for us.
We're doing good.
I'm sure this is less problematic than the brawlers.
Are you sure?
3 for 3. Let's go, baby.
Doubt. That's all I'm gonna say is doubt.
I mean, goblins aren't as powerful as the brawlers are
You
normally.
guys are level 8 now, so.
Yeah,
Got 20 of
Sure.
them plus the master. I'm sure we'll
sure.
be fine.
I'm sure we can take them.
Assuming that's all of them.
All right. Does anyone have an idea for the name of this episode?
Regret.
I'm just thinking about some kind of like cheese and wine platter, but like maybe wine with like the H.
I was thinking I wet my sleeping bag.
That's good. I like that.
As much as I like that, I think I would like to decline that, because let's leave that as a surprise for anyone watching.
Moist.
It is a
Moist.
surprise. They'll never see it coming.
Yeah, just moist, but you space out the letters.
Oh boy.
That makes people ask more questions, okay? That's a good title.
I kind of like the regret one.
You can space out the letters on that one too.
No
Really?
regrets.
You have to have that guy with the tattoo as our YouTube.
Thumbnail.
Yeah.
Anyone have a?
But with Kale's trucker hat.
Yeah. Of course.
I can do that. Does anyone have a raid that they want to do?
We are
Colt's
my
playing
only
Lost
legend.
in Random.
Oh yeah, see that. We can do that. That works for me. Alright. So, did I add this to this? Let me double check. I did. Nope, I didn't. Never mind. So, everyone, oh, right. We will be back with, NotProVOs D&D, was it next day? We're playing next week, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Just double checking, because your schedule gets a little...
Yep.
Alright, but we'll be back next week to continue, assuming nothing gets in the way. I will be back on Sunday, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to finish Minerva's Den Bioshock 2 DLC, and possibly start on Bioshock Infinite.
Fun game.
Mm-hmm. If you enjoyed this session, which I know I did, lots of
Yes.
not voice acting, role playing. But make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow, all those things that Twitch and YouTube want you to do to show support, up to your comfort level.
Yeah, please do.
And everyone have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
I didn't even type in the raid message, so we'll be in here for a moment.
We're going to act all awkwardly until the raid actually happens now.
Well, we got 8 seconds, so.
To further increase the
I have to
optimism,
keep
in the
waiting
comments,
because I
tell
thought
us
we
who's
were
your
at
favorite
fun.
character.
Yeah.
Why is it Kale?
Yeah, basically.
All right. See y'all later. We have rated. And